The Christmas glass. While cooking for Thanksgiving, I took my Grandma Jower's iced tea glass out of my curio cabinet for a ceremonial sip. Molded with glass facets giving it an iridescent gleam, they are heavy, carved, substantial vessels, a stable grip for embracing Southern sweet tea. They hail from the 60s, and I remember them every single year, all year long. They were unique and remarkable, like their owners, my grandparents. Even more than the month spent visiting in the summer, I associate the glasses most with the peak dining experience of the holiday table. Days before the seasonal arrival of the adult children, grandchildren, and great-grandmother Nana, my grandmother would begin the creation of the holiday spread. Born Sybil Glass, then Sybil Jowers upon marrying, Grandma natively embraced the quiet, steady expressing of love with the shared experience of food. Lots, and lots, of food. First off was the buffet of savory and sweet nibbles. They lay out upon a heaped counter, so close to each other that you barely saw the formica. My grandfather quietly teased that the holidays were for grazing. These myriad of noms were essential for any proper holiday. Family would snag a treat from a plate whenever walking through the kitchen, the literal and figurative center of the home. On the customary buffet counter lay holiday-themed platters displaying the variety of edible goods. Firstly, of course, were two of the high-powered sugar bombs very traditional to Southern holiday gifting, buttermilk candy and divinity. Buttermilk candy was a soft, melted, and caramelized spoonful. This frosting-textured praline was dotted with chopped, hand-gathered, and hulled pecans. I ate them by making small little scraping bites and let it slowly melt on my tongue. Partner to the buttermilk candy lay the platter of stacked cubes of white fluffy divinity. These were probably the absolutely sweetest things in the house, if not in all the county. They melted pleasingly in your mouth while your body cried out diabetes. There were many other traditional family goodies offered: melted chocolate bark, coated pretzels and Oreos, fudge, toffee crack, cakes, and those flavorful, sweet, powerfully dense rolled date balls that had a slight crunch and were covered in powdered sugar. On the highly addictive savory side boasted the sausage cheese balls. These cholesterol-laden haystack bites were made of only 3 items: country sausage, very sharp grated cheddar, and Bisquick. The dough binder absorbed the rich, heavy flavors, and while it baked, it actually partially fried in the oils. And then there was the crowned glory that was the snickerdoodle. These snickerdoodles were thick, sweet circles coated in cinnamon sugar. There would be a slight crispness outside, and inside was a soft, semi-sweet, moist, cake-like dough. And so rich with quality Southern butter. These irresistible circles of joy were favored by myself and by Grandpa. "Sherry, do you want a snickerdoodle?" he'd ask with a slow, amused, teasing drawl. "Why don't you bring one of those snickerdoodles to me, too? These snickerdoodles are good, aren't they?" My other favorite nibble was the semi-sweet chocolate bark-coated peanut butter sandwiches. Inside a chocolate bark coating lay an enrobed sandwich made of peanut butter smeared between 2 Ritz crackers. They were a smooth, crunchy, salty, sweet, buttery, and nutty mix of flavors and textures. When I was around, this plate quickly became empty. Grandma often gave me a Ziploc baggie of these and the coated pretzels to take home, without a care about my mom's policy of healthy nutrition. I tended to gain a bit of weight every visit. In addition to the handcrafted holiday buffet of grazing were the foods Grandma put out as seasonal decoration. My grandfather worked crafts in wood while at their little neighborhood grocery store. During quiet hours, he cut shapes out of used fruit crate slats on his butcher saw. A favorite holiday decor item he made was a wooden Christmas tree, with holes to be filled with the sticks of dum-dum lollipops. There were store-bought decorative accents, too. One very enjoyable memory was when I took a gumdrop off the gumdrop tree, whereupon Grandma became distressed. I then learned she had been using the same bag of gumdrops for years, intending them as only decoration. That did explain why they were stale. Now, such things here described were just the daytime snacks. For the main holiday dinner, she made a real production to sustain her beloved clan. She allowed her daughters and daughters-in-law, and even later myself, to assist. But the kitchen was her domain. She managed it with constant, careful oversight to her standards. More than just pride of quality, cooking for her family was the optimal way to show love, by providing sustenance to whom she loved and cared for. This quiet, steady, nurturing duty was greater than any verbal platitude. Cooking was the ultimate expression of love, and to ensure no one in her charge had an unfilled yearning, she would proactively seek to fill it. This care even went so far as to please my New York-bred father with a special batch of cornbread, made with sugar. Anyone not familiar with Southern culture cannot comprehend the value of such a gift. Cornbread was homemade and without the need for a recipe. Southerners are innately born knowing how to make it. Cornbread is the joining of buttermilk and cornmeal, baked in the family cast-iron legacy pan. And sugar was not invited to the party. Yankee-style sweetened cornbread, considered a cake, was deemed a sad facsimile of authentic grace, and pity upon those who could not know the glory of the real thing. Indeed, Grandma's cornbread was the ultimate destination of the lucky kernels to make it into her bag of cornmeal. Rich, crumbly, crunchy outside, dusted with cornmeal, and inside was a warm, dense sponge made of the soul of corn, with the unique tang provided by thick, rich buttermilk. With melting butter spread upon it, Grandma's cornbread was the food of the gods to me. But the holiday table fairly groaned under the full collection of the actual meal. Consumption took place at dinner time, dinner being midday, of course, and the holiday meal had all the culturally customary culinary components. But it was the traditionally Southern offerings of the holiday that truly stand out in my memories. With the turkey and ham, there were the common sides like green bean casserole, giblet gravy, and yeast rolls. But the true stars were the dressings, gelatin salads, and sweet potato casseroles. Stuffing, being loose, fluffy, wet bread stuff, was okay, but not good enough. Instead, dressing was made. Dressing was a rich, savory bread pudding baked in a casserole dish. It would be augmented with additions such as ground sausage, giblets, or chunks of boiled eggs. I personally really preferred the dressing plain with just the bread, but it was an uncontested fact that I was the bless-my-heart weirdo of the family. The salads struck me as a very strange term for what I thought suspiciously lacking of greenery and croutons. These salads were things like cups of ambrosia, made with fruit cocktail and marshmallows, glasses of Jell-O full of grated carrots, and a pear salad made of an individually placed saucer with a canned pear poised on a single leaf of lettuce, filled with mayonnaise, and topped with grated cheddar cheese. But the cherry salad was a particularly special recipe of hers, and it returned each year by public demand and tradition. It was absolutely delicious, and a surprisingly sweet offering for a side dish. It was made of partially set dark cherry Jell-O, mixed in with canned dark cherries, whipping cream, and walnuts. But the very famous, well-known Southern star of the event was the sweet potato casserole. This was a thick, stiff custard made from fresh, mashed, baked sweet potatoes. When heated for serving, it was covered with a sweet layer. Most often, it was topped with miniature marshmallows, oven-toasted, browned, and gooey. But it was the alternate option with a caramelized pecan crumb topping that was my extreme personal favorite. Grandma was filled with consternation each and every year when I asserted the cherry Jell-O and sweet potato casserole were most definitely a candidate for the dessert table, and I was told each year it was a side dish. No further discussion. Again, I was the known weird one. During these sorts of customary culinary divergence, Grandma often uttered, "It must be the Yankee in you." So, here I stand decades later. A head full of treasured memories come each year, and I seek some way to share this bonding legacy of generational feasting. Modern times can be enjoyable on special days of celebration, yet the years are without that busy houseful of kith or kin, and so the season always seems a bit lacking. My husband grew up not celebrating holidays, but my food-based visiting customs have come to be enjoyed and have become our own small tradition. Making special snacks or dishes for cared ones reminds me of those overloaded childhood tables and Grandma's lessons in love. As much as I can within my capabilities of health, I take joy in gifting the loved ones I know with some of the special handmade tastes of my edible heritage. So many holiday recollections are of the full, noisy, well-fed Thanksgivings and Christmases from those Alabama holidays with my Southern grandmother. So, this winter day, I pull out the slyly nabbed iced tea glass that I have claimed as an heirloom, and from it, I sip a glass of Southern-style sweet tea. Happy Holiday, Grandma. Written in 2025 by Sherry Haight.